President Obama and the head of Homeland Security, Napolitano, passed backdoor amnesty without going to Congress. And to talk about this violation of the Constitution is Congressman Louis Gohmert. Congressman Gohmert serves as the congressman for the 1st Congressional District of Texas, and he happens to sit on the House Judiciary Committee, the Natural Resources Committee, and as the vice chair for the Subcommittee on Crime. Prior to being elected, Mr. Gohmert served as a district judge in Smith County, Texas. Congressman Gohmert, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Well, thank you, Michael, and thanks for having me on. It is a real pleasure. I've heard you so many times, and you're on a local radio station that I have on all the time, KTBB here locally, so it's great to be talking to you personally.
So you believe, as I do, that Obama and Napolitano granted amnesty to illegal immigrants in this manner in order to appease the Hispanic lobbies?
They are saying that the economy is not doing well. Things overseas are not particularly going all that well. And so he needs a better voting base. And so I would imagine you'll see a lot of efforts to legalize folks here. This is just granting waivers, and we've already seen that's how this guy governs. Basically, it's a way of voting present while being president. You just give waivers. You give your friends waivers on health care. You give waivers to GE to pay certain taxes. You give waivers to anybody that may be your cronies. And so it's crony capitalism at its worst. And so now we're basically giving waivers to people to waive American law. And not only does he just grant waivers, he sues states that are actually trying to enforce the law that he took an oath to enforce, but absolutely refuses to do. And I tell you, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. We've seen it before. If an all-out effort isn't made between now and next November, a year from now, to have more people sworn in as new citizens. And, of course, the effort will be ongoing to prevent jurisdictions from requiring valid IDs in order to vote so that you can continue to have people to vote that are not lawfully allowed to do so. And it ought to give any party pause when your efforts to get voters are to allow felons to vote again, to allow people who are not mentally where they were once in their lives, and then to have people that are not perhaps lawfully here get in and vote by virtue of eliminating or preventing voter ID. It ought to tell you something about the party and about your goals, that they're just not good for America. Otherwise, Americans across the country would be voting.
Is what Secretary Napolitano and Obama did, granting backdoor amnesty to illegals, is this impeachable?
I don't know that that's an impeachable offense. There's never been any indications that refusing to enforce the law is an impeachable offense. But it is absolute reason that he should never be president again. This is what he's done. I mean, it's just a refusal to enforce the laws. And you go back to the GM, the Chrysler bailout, they got a bankruptcy judge to agree to sign an order that turned the law upside down, and then they scared the Supreme Court into not even taking the case up. The Constitution was stood on its head. The bankruptcy law was completely violated, and it's their mode of operation, and it is outrageous. It needs to come to an end and can't come to an end quick enough.
I know that Obama's just trying to appease those within the Latino community so they'll vote for him next November. But so what? He violated the Constitution, didn't he?
Well, he has seen that Latino community has begun to figure out this guy's really not for their best interests. Their best interests, if you work with Hispanics, you deal with Hispanics, generally speaking, I realize this is a generalization, they're hardworking folks, have strong family ties, have a belief in God, and the very things that I think made this country great, and very hard work ethic. Well, the best thing for them is to have jobs coming available in America, and this guy does not create jobs for those who are ready to work hard, unless they're wanting some cush government job. And as the old saying goes, if people are not willing to work hard and earn their way, then they ought to be voted out of office, the old joke. But it's really, there's a lot of truth in it. He needs to be voted out. We need people that will let America work. It's kind of like an airplane. It wants to fly. My old flight instructor said, an airplane that's well built, it wants to fly. You just try not to mess it up. And this economy wants to fly. The money's there. The jobs could be created, but he has got to get out of the way and quit doing damage to this economy. And Hispanics are seeing that.